Do you suffer from sneezing, running noses, nasal congestion? Well, let's go ahead and talk about how we might be able to turn this into a VA claim. Let's get into it.
Whiskey 9 Yankee 7 November Golf, over.
So, what are we talking about here? Well, we are talking about rhinitis, aka hay fever, aka the bane of my existence. According to the VA, there are 3 types of rhinitis. There are allergic, bacterial, and granulomatous. Well, today we'll be focusing on allergic. As with all conditions, in order to get rhinitis as a VA recognized condition, it must be service connected. These ratings come in 0, big goose egg, 10%, or 30%. We're going to go over each percentage and what qualifies you for that particular rating. Okay, so let's go ahead and break down each rating. For 0%, this one is pretty easy and straightforward. Because rhinitis is now part of the PACT Act presumptive list, it is fairly easy for a vet to get this condition service connected. First, you will need a current diagnosis, and then you will need to be present at any of the specific or specified geographical locations highlighted in the PACT Act. Not only do you have to be in that specific geographical location, but you have to be present in a specific time as well. Obviously, the biggest thing for the PACT Act is talking about burn pits, so having a mention of you actually being around burn pits will help as well. With these 2 things alone, you can go ahead and put in for your claim, and you should be able to get that service connected. Now, unfortunately, most of the service connections that we are seeing going down this route specifically is 0, 0, 0. Now, let's go ahead and jump in and see what you need to do in order to get the 10 and the 30%. All right, so in order to get the 10%, you need to actually be able to show the severity of your rhinitis. In order to get 10% according to 38 CFR, you need to have 50% obstruction of nasal passage on both sides or complete obstruction on one side. So that means both your nostrils are stuffy and it's hard to breathe out of them, or 100% blockage on one side will actually grant you that 10%. Now, the one thing that the 38 CFR doesn't say, it does not say how long you have to have these blockages or these obstructions in order to claim the 10%. So that's why it's important for you to be able to articulate how long you have these things and the actions you do to try to remedy it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about 30%. 30% is pretty straightforward. In order to get 30%, you need to have present polyps in your naval cavity somewhere. Okay, so this is what polyps look like, and they are a growth that happens from reoccurring allergic reactions from pollen, fur, dust, any of those things out in the elements that will cause your nasal passageways to react. All right, so in order to get claims approved, you need to be able to have all the evidence that you can possibly muster. As always, having a good chain showing the VA linkage between your condition, your symptoms, to your service is the most important thing. If you do not meet the PACT Act qualification, you need to be able to have a log and really show all of the things that are going on with you, and you need to have a nexus. So show something or someone showing the connection between your service and the symptoms and condition that you currently have. This is very important. You cannot miss the step. For again, the PACT Act guys, it's a little bit easier for you to get the service connection, but it's still going down the same road for actually showing the severity, making sure you have that log, making sure that you are actually documenting everything. Now, for this log, yes, you are indeed going to keep it. And we know self-reporting is on the lowest end of the totem pole, and the VA really doesn't care. So, similar to what Clay talked about for his migraine, that log is very important only when you share it with your primary care provider. Once that primary care provider receives that log, and actually makes notes in your records, now it actually becomes good evidence by a primary care provider. This is crucial. Logs by themselves just don't have much weight with the VA, unfortunately. Lastly, it always helps to have a personal statement with all of your claims, especially ones that you have to track and actually show evidence of, being that they're not constant, but they're chronic. Statement is very important so you can actually articulate all the things that are going on with you with that condition, the severity, the frequency, everything. Always try to submit a statement. I know it's monotonous. I know sometimes it feels like it doesn't help much, but it really does because it gives context to action, which is an indication of that condition. So make sure you also submit a personal statement with this claim. All right, guys, that is it. That's all the information I have for you today. I wanted to really make this short and sweet, try to get the most pertinent information to you guys as fast as possible so you can get on with these claims and get on with your day. I know you have a lot of important things to do. So to get more information that's important to you, please like and subscribe. It will always help us in the long run because then the algorithm spreads more of our information to people who need it, just like you. As always, this is Jay with TheCivDiv. Stay strong, stay resilient, and I'll see you later.